Hi everybody, this is Arlene here, and today I'm finally going to bring you a tutorial on how to make these cute little dangle earrings that a few people have been asking me for the tutorial, and I'm sorry for being so slow. But I started with a number 3 thread, which is this one right here. It's a little heavier than the number 10 thread. This thread is the number 10, and as you can see, it has a little bit more weight to it. When I use the number 3, I usually make 2 balls of yarn and I double strand it. These were made with a double strand of number 10, and they look almost identical to the number 3. This is number 3 yarn and this is the number 10 yarn, and it sort of gives it some leverage when you double the number 10. Either one is fine. If you have some sport weight yarn, you can also use that. So with the number 10 thread, I normally like to use a 1.5 millimeter. It's a little blurry, can't really see it that well, but it's a 1.5 millimeter hook. It's one of the smaller hooks. With the number 3, I can use a C hook or 2.75 millimeter, or I like to use my D hook, which has erased here because I've used it so much. But the D hook is a 3.0 millimeter hook. So that's the thread you're going to be using. You're also going to need one of these size hooks, a scissor to cut the yarn, a pair of pliers for the hardware to put the hardware on, 2 jump rings. I have one here, and the other one I put it on the ear wire, because if you're going to use this type of ear wire for this project, it would probably be easier for you to put the jump ring onto the ear wire first before adding the jump ring to the earring. So I left one like that in case that would be a better option. Or you can use your regular size ear wires. It's a little bit of glare here from the lamp. Let me just smooth this. But it's one of your regular ear wires. And if you want to decorate it with a pearl button, I don't have any more white pearl buttons like I have on this one, but I do have the pink ones. So I just wanted to show you for demonstration. It's just a regular button, and it has the little buttonhole thingy in the back. What I normally do is I take one of these type of pliers and I just cut the plastic piece off of here, and then I just use my hot glue gun, which is also another item you're going to need to glue the button on. If that's what you choose to do, it's optional, you don't really have to. I have a pair here that doesn't have anything on it. You can add a button with the holes in it, the regular button, or you can use one of these types of buttons, or you can pretty much decorate it with a little bead or whatever you feel like decorating it with. I'm basically going to show you how to make the flower and mount them all together like this. It's a fairly easy project. Now with the bead on top, you can use a bead with a large hole so that all 3 of your strands can fit through, because you're going to pull the strands through the bead hole. I found these beads at my craft store. They have a large hole where my needle fits through the hole so that I can pull the ends through the hole. So I got my first petal made here. I made the flower petal, and the first petal has 10 chains, which is going to dangle from the bead. Now the next petal I make is going to have 15 chains. So also you're going to need a blunt needle so that you can weave in your ends. This blunt needle is quite large. You might not need one as large as this one, but it's one of the only ones that I really have. I have a few others here, but they're kind of small. I don't know if all 3 of the strands are going to fit through it. Perhaps maybe you can just do 1 strand at a time when you're weaving it in. But we'll get to that later. So yes, these are a few of the things that you're going to need. So I'm just going to put everything here on my little tray so that I can get started. This is my first one here. Let's move this out of the way. And we're going to get our number 3 thread, and we're going to use our C hook, the 2.75 millimeter hook. I like to leave a little tail always so that I can sew it in later. But we're going to start with our loop, and this video is intended for people who already know how to make basic crochet stitches. We're going to use our treble stitching, and we're going to use the slip stitch and chain stitches on this project. So you have to at least know basic crochet. So we're going to start with a chain of 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to make a loop. If you prefer to make a magic loop, that's okay also. So we're going to slip that through, and what we're going to do is wrap this tail around our loop. I like to do it that way so that I won't have to sew it in later. I just wrap it all the way around as if it's part of my chain loop, and that way I won't have to sew it in later. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And inside the loop is where all of our stitches are going to go. So we're going to treble now, and we're going to yarn over twice in the loop. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, and we're going to remove 2 loops. Then we're going to remove 2 loops, and then we're going to remove the last 2 loops on the hook, and that's a treble stitch. So we're going to need 3 treble stitches for each petal. So each petal is going to have 3 chains on one side, 3 trebles, and then another chain 3. So here's our second treble. Yarn over twice. Pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, remove 2, and then remove the last 2. So there we have our 3 trebles, and then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch in the loop. And I'm going to move this over a little bit so it won't bunch up. Make room for the rest of the petals. And there we have our first petal is made. So we're going to chain 3 and start on our next petal. yarn over twice for the treble, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, yarn over, remove 2, yarn over, and remove 2. So that's our first treble and our first chain 3. Here's the second one. And the third one. And now we're going to chain 3 and slip stitch in the loop, pull up a loop and pull it all the way through. Chain 3 for the next petal, make a treble, and another treble, one more treble, and we have 3 trebles, chain 3, and our petal is made. Slip stitch, chain 3 for the next petal, yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, remove 2, remove 2. One more. Oops, I think I missed one. Yarn over twice. So now we need our last chain 3 and slip stitch, chain 3. How many petals do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to make a 5-petal flower. 2 and 3. So this is our last petal. Yarn over twice. My little tail was getting in the way. Remove 2, remove 2, remove 2. Yarn over twice. And we have 3 trebles, so chain 3 and slip stitch to finish the petal. So now we have 5 petals. So our first flower has 10 chains, which is going to be our shorter flower, which is this one, the one closer to the top. And our next flower is going to be a little longer, so we're going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have a stem made with 15 chains. And we can cut and leave a little tail, so we'll have enough to wrap around the top of the earring. So now we have 2 of our petals. Looks a little bunched up, but we're going to straighten it out. And before you glue your button in the middle, you might want to take a steam iron and press the flower a little bit so that it'll look a little more put together. It makes it look nicer. So since I weaved in this piece of this tail back here, I'm going to pull it so that I can close my little hole here a little bit. Okay, so that brings it together a little nicer. So we can cut this since it's weaved in already. And our second petal is made. The first petal is going to go here, like this. And let's set that over there, and we're going to go on to our next petal, our next flower. Chain 7, make a loop. So I finished my last petal on the flower and my chain 3. So I'm going to slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's see if that would be enough. Let's fix our little petal here. And that looks just about right. So you're going to do 10, 15, and 20 chains from the shortest to the longest, and that should be pretty good. It looks like it's gonna dangle just fine. Okay, so we're going to cut this last one since we have what we want, and cut that tail off. So once we have all of our stems made and measured, we're going to put all of our stems together like this by size, and you kind of want to make the shortest one fall to the front, and then the next one next to that one, and the long one in the back. So you're going to kind of rearrange it that way. So what we want to do is we want to get all 3 of these strands into our bead with the big hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our needle through the bead, and then we're going to take the strands and we're going to thread them through like this, and you're going to sort of pull it down in there like that, So you have to kind of rearrange it so that it can look the way you want it to look. So I'm going to leave my loop like this. I'm not going to pull these strands all the way out of the bead, because then I'm going to have to pull them back in. So what I'm basically going to do is, it would be much easier if I just get my jump ring. Got a little lost in the pile. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to get my jump ring, and I'm going to open my jump ring up and get my strands in the jump ring. So I'm going to open it up enough so that they can fit through, and I'm sort of going to thread them through like this, and I'm going to close my jump ring. That should do it. So now I'm going to pull my 3 strands from the bead. Going to pull them down, and it should look sort of like this. Got that? So with these strands here, once we have our flowers in position where we want them, we're just going to take this leftover thread, and we don't really want to cut it, so we're just going to wrap it around the stems like this. We're just going to do this as neatly as possible. Try to loosen it a little bit from the top so that when you thread your strands into the blunt needle, you want the needle to fit through here. It's going to come out through here. It's going to come out right through the top. So let's get our blunt needle. And we're going to trim our stem, where's my scissor? We're going to trim our strands here and thread them through the needle. And then we're going to go up inside the wrapping we just did. And if you could fit it through the top of the bead, through here, that will make it extra secure, but you don't really need to. You just have to make sure you secure it through here. So your, so your needle can come straight through the top, like this, and that should make it easier. And then you just sort of pull it snugged a little bit, and you might want to thread it downward one more time from in between the wrapping you just made, just to secure it and make sure that it's not going to unravel. And that should do it. So now we can cut the strand that we made here. And you can cut it even a little shorter. Just make sure, just make sure that you're cutting only the strands and not what you just crocheted. So here we go. We have them all together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to heat up our glue gun, and we're going to decorate our earring. Okay, so now we're going to steam our earring a little bit, just so that it'll look a little nicer and it won't curl up at the edges. So please be careful, because the earring is small and your fingers are going to be close to the iron, and you should be careful not to get burned. So we're just going to steam it a little bit. That ought to do it. We also can find the tiny little craft irons at the craft store. You might find one for like maybe 25 or 30 bucks. They're not that expensive. It's just a miniature iron for craft projects like this, which is great to have. I'm seriously thinking about investing in one. But this is it looks a little flatter, and it makes it look a little better when you steam iron your crochet work. So yeah, that's done. So now we can proceed with gluing our button onto the flower. So I'm a little undecided between the black button and the pink button, but I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, being that the bead is brown, maybe the pink button looks a little better. So we're going to go with the pink. And I'm going to cut the little piece off the back of the button. Like so. It's plastic, so it comes off pretty easily. The glue is going to be very hot also, so just please be careful not to burn yourself. Also, you can keep a little bowl with ice in it in case the hot glue gets on your hand. It will instantly relieve you of the burn if you have a bowl of ice nearby. Okay, so our glue is coming out quite quickly. So we're going to add a drop of glue onto it. And we're going to put it right in the middle. And that should do it. Oops. I'm trying to squeeze it out slow. I don't want too much of it on there. Okay, so the hot glue gun dries almost instantly, so there really isn't a lot of waiting time. We just want to check and see. Oh, this one appears to not have enough glue on it, so we're just going to dab a little bit more on there. Okay, that should do it. You get a little bit of stretchies from the glue that comes off. You really do want to try to avoid getting glue onto your crochet because you might not get that off. So it's better if you dab the glue onto the button so you don't mess up the crochet work, because you could always replace the button if you mess that up, but you don't really want to do the crochet work over again. So here's your earring as promised. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. and I will bring you another video tutorial as soon as possible. And I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of my followers and my subscribers.